哎呦，哎呦，7个农民。
On its own and expose the rest of the drones. Another Hellion runs in. 9 drones
12
died. They're all lined up. 12.
这还打毛啊！
And Gumiho
这马巴上来杀了12个农民。
already with a pretty solid start. That's honestly, it feels like a little bit of a bop there. He has the medevac follow up. He can drop the Hellion. Can just
还能打下去，还能打下去。
The spine crawler.
He's gonna get a bold Viking man to go for some
公路上
overload
这
here
波
as
是
well. He's not
牺
about
牲了
to
新
stop
甲，
anything.
然后
Just like True
打
needs
的
to。drone to. He can't go for links here.
但是这
He needs to be
这
drawn.
后面这波走可能还要伤啊。
这波后头很伤。
Think about what this does to
公
you.
路在操作，他把女皇秒了，这操作有点细。
There's not even a spire on the way. The Hellions come in. He's going to focus down the weakened queen, picks up the weakened Hellion, and guess what? What has True really seen in this game? A bunch of Hellions, some medevacs. Okay, he moved out with only Marines that he had. And he's just pressuring him with Hellions, so he's still not actually 100% sure. I don't believe in Overlord.
这前期这个进攻有点凶，我只能说。
问题是莽巴也没有说他去开3矿，就2矿好好的就被骚扰成这样。
For what he invested his resources
He
in.
didn't start the spire or anything.
No, he can't afford to because he needs to.
前期来的太快了，可能是
And queens.
没反应过来。
Not quite the start True had hoped for here. Is it gonna be like this the rest of the game or even maybe the series here? This is not looking good at all here for True, who's made a lot of Zerglings, but
The wall, I mean, the wall is open a little bit. He's going to try to block it with the Marines and Hellions. He's got the medevac coming back too. Just now, the Spire is starting. The Lair started at 6 minutes, so the Spire should be, you know, in a normal game where this doesn't happen. You start the Spire as soon as the Lair is done.
还马巴这边还是出了飞龙塔，他还是打算好好打。
what do you think?
他觉得这个局面他还能打回来。
Here, Gumiho, what do you think about the argument for keeping those Hellions alive against sacrificing them to try and get even more drones?
I think because he wants to go into bio, the whole idea is to keep forcing.
慢慢吃战损吧，我觉得莽巴想的是慢慢吃战损。库米火也不是个省油的灯啊。库米火其实有段时间一直很强，好像他打那个雷锋杯总是来拿钱，好像是拿了好多次钱。
不过雷锋杯的那些选手也算是韩国2流选手。
对啊，你想他能够在韩国2流选手面前稳定拿钱，还是蛮猛的。
但莽巴可是韩国1流重组选手呀。
但莽巴走了很久了，他已经离开韩国战场很久了。莽巴最强的是他的飞龙操作，他的这个飞龙的保护和牵制用的特别好。
So realistically speaking, True's only chance at this game is if his Mutalisk can come in and make a couple of key pickoffs. But Stim is already done.
莽巴的打法还是比较正常的，飞龙，然后出了之后，然后开始爆农民，把3矿给运营起来。还有古米后这个基地有点嚣张。
好，飞龙出来了。
没用啊，飞龙出来你要被牵回去啊。
这波有点飞龙有点冲动了。啊，莽巴用飞龙在这边各种搞啊，出各种搞，但是顾面我不给他运营的机会了，完全不给你运营时间，直接一波就顶脸。
说顶脸，看毒爆，看毒爆，
操作了，顾面火这个操作太好了。这操作直接毒爆全部烧光，看上去这还有2个毒爆。 耶，这2个毒爆不错哦。顾面火有点没注意，好像。
没注意，这2个毒爆守住了，我感觉守住了。哦，还是守不住，后面兵还源源不断 A 上，还不一定。
太大了，飞龙损失太大了。 飞龙已经没了，这后面就兵源源不断，一直接，他直接开到黄金矿啊！你看，优势太大了，这群。他们说我快你一点点，你几分几秒啊？
等一下，你直接比我快一点。
你刷一下好了。
啊，我刷一下，这场打完。
这场比赛已经结束了，已经结束了。他这样不停的接兵，怎么可能挡得住
拖农民也没有任何意义啊。DPS 太少，上面只有3条飞龙输出，也没有毒爆。
1比1，1比0，没给这个True一点什么运营的机会。
刷一下。
你刷一下，完全没给他运营的机会，就不停的搞。
Just go for 2 Marines, get the reactor, and then start his factory as the reactor is finishing, and like go for a big Marine push early on. It's something that he does a lot because against Zerg players, and a good number of them these days will go for fast Mulisks off 2 bases. They don't have either Zergling speed or a lot of Zerglings out on the map, which allows you to push out and kill overlords with only a couple of Hellions to support you.
这点因为我们前面没看，所以说不知道是前期什么情况。
前期好像就是开矿之后打了一个那个机枪带的一个压制，就是机枪火车迅速压制。
Even like he moved out with like what 4 Marines, you know, he had some units rejoining this army, and the initial drones that he got, you know.
Yeah. If you just the best way to compare it is if you look at any other Terran, it's you get the Reaper, then the reactor, your factory, and you swap them. You know, Gumiho keeps that reactor on the barracks because he knows that if True does any sort of aggressive push with roaches or banelings, he will actually have the production necessary to fill 2 or 3 bunkers, still get like trickle out a couple Hellions behind, but he won't die to any all-ins. Like that's it's one of the best parts about the way that Gumiho plays. Like and most of these.
How do you adjust to this? In StarCraft, every build has a counter. So now if True realizes exactly what happened here and thinks that Gumiho
其实 True 如果进决赛打 Parting 的话，可能要比那个 Gumiho 机会大一点。
我也觉得他的 PVT 太强了，
他 PVT 整个今年的胜率是84%。今年1年啊，84%的一个胜率。
他你这个 PVT 真的强。
他这个有点硬吃操作的感觉了。
他 PVZ 也是硬吃操作呀。
但相对来说，你 PVZ 的这个硬吃操作，我们虽然看到了刚才他那么华丽，但是还是有机会把他捅穿的嘛，就很极限他这个。
我们来看一下出生点位，出生在地图下方5点钟方向是红色的虫族选手莽霸，出在地图上方11点钟方向呢是蓝色的人族选手Gumiho。
你现在几分几秒吗？
我相信差不多的，应该我来看一下啊。
Gumiho
1分15、16、17，
一样的。Gumiho刚才我们看到他这个好像用了一个手帕在包住鼠标，他应该是汗比较重的一位选手。
You know, I would say it comes from being worried about all-ins for me, but this guy doesn't seem to be worried about that at all. I'm actually, it's still going through my head now. I'm really wondering what he would have vetoed, because I imagine that True probably vetoes.
刚才我接了条短信，尊敬的淘宝用户你好，为了回馈广大淘宝用户对本公司长期以来的支持，特在近期举办12周年庆典。感恩大回馈活动，然后反正说了一大堆，说我中奖16万人民币及苹果电脑一部。
这么低级的骗术，怎么可能中奖嘛？
对啊，
怎么可能？这怎么可能上当嘛？
登录什么什么网站，然后输入什么验证码，受不了。
这个太低级了，关键。这种骗术骗孬种都骗不成。
不，这不好说。不好说。好，这边裸双先气矿，这有点狠呐。那Gumiho裸双先气矿他要干嘛嘛？要跑火车的呢？
对啊，他就第一时间跑火车呀。这火车应该比想象中要快点，可能他第一盘就有那么打的。
You know, not to say that spreading creep is easy, but if you can, it makes moving around this big map a little bit easier.
Good thing you have planetary force.
他们说 No 总上一次已经被骗过，这次不会再被骗的。这种东西不好说，大家不要好像。
It's a pretty tricky way to play. Like,
觉得没事儿。
That's why I like Gumiho, because he'll do things like this, and it turns out that if you can get away with plays,
这张地图是一张这个4人图啊，4人图其实Gumiho这个战术有点凶，他科技比我们想的要快很多。
对，
他是裸双先气矿的。
但打裸双的话，像莽霸上一场那种先2本出飞龙的，其实打裸双其实并不是很好打。
我感觉这盘Gumiho可能要机械化呀，他2期非常早。Gumiho的机械化 TVZ 本来就很强，
但这个图打机械化太远了。
他打一波那种机械化，就是那种前期不是用火车带女要压你一波，然后压出优势就直接推脸的那种机械化。
对， 但就是因为太远了呀。
不过这张图本身就难打，所以选什么战术都可以。TV 的很难打这张图。
It turns out for like second factory play, but the starport makes a lot of sense in the current meta because if True was going to be aggressive, since there's no ramp leading into the natural, it would probably be.
现在还是火车女妖要压一波，这个是对的。
It's very easy to wall this map off too, but that won't really be coming into play. True's going for an incredibly fast layer. This is actually the last game. It looks like 5 minutes and 45 seconds. He started this, so he still wants to play.
最近这套跳飞龙的战术还是比较的流行的。
Because Gumiho's getting his Hellions, you know. Just a bit faster than he would have otherwise. He has an opportunity if True isn't situated, expecting this fast of a potential Hellion push.
这个战术不是我经常用的战术。
什么跳飞龙啊？
对啊，
最近比较流行嘛。跳飞龙比较稳。
这个不是比较稳，是最稳的。
对，基本上你人族前期搞不到的。
他跟我这个跳飞龙还有一点区别，他这个3网开的非常早，
比你早，
非常早。
郭明我这边也就看一看，
他拿着
家里面 VA 下去了，这个完全要看 True 的一个防守功力了。
哎呦，这农民
2个火车进来，围一下，看能杀几个农民。
可以了，5个农民已经可以了。
2个火车换5个农民，差不多吧。郭明我现在比较强势的就是在你飞龙出来之前那波火车带女妖的火车侠带女妖强行污脸的这一波比较强。这招对虫族的防守要求比较高。
现在关键是火车还是很多啊！现在莽霸的狗啊，并不能够把这个局面控制下来。
这没毒爆守这波，好升级火车的一攻了，郭明华要打接化了。
没毒爆走这波有点难守。
但韩国的虫族好像都是靠那个狗加女皇来守的，
所以那女皇你要多呀，你至少要有个3、4个女皇吧。
他有啊，他全部拉出来了。上次那个海皇也这样说。
就他们可能对狗的这个操作特别好。有个女王牵制，有个女妖牵制，你这个
女皇出不来，对吧？你女皇出不来，
这个基地要爆呀。
基地被强，这基地还是开太早了。
是太早了，没有这么早的开基地的呀。
好，强点基地。这边用火车侠换掉你的狗，
这个狗是
位置换爽了。网吧这盘要走了呀，被换了那么多狗。
网吧打的，我就觉得他这个打他开3网开那么早，又没有毒爆虫巢，对吧？何苦呢？
好了，这个多线智力被爆了。
这个多线打的是8个农民走了，
这边推不进去
，9个、10个了。
这种跳飞龙的，上来死一波农民，再跳个毛飞龙啊！
关键他跳飞龙跳得太嚣张了呀！你这飞龙出来，郭明后家里面已经等着你了，
这都要甩，这都要甩农民。好了，14个农民，
可以了。关键就2矿，这种
现在我就守你一波，然后我就推脸。
对啊，这种你告诉我怎么可能飞龙有机会嘛？
我守你一波我就推脸，你一点办法都没有。这的确有点无解。哎，郭明火真的打得有点好呀。
Which is still pretty risky cross spawn, so I don't fault him for going back. But you can usually finish
现在
quickly once you have.
莽霸真的是没什么办法，这波飞龙过去一看。
Gumiho can safely, I believe he should be able
to
easily get up to 3.
围巾我感觉都打不过这波飞龙。
对啊，你就看一眼对手就直接雷神带火车侠就直接推脸了。这种机械化很猛的。现在你又没宿主赖，以前还有个宿主可以赖一赖。你进来好了，你飞龙进来，我直接看到你飞龙我就推脸。
这种机械化只能用爆蟑螂去拼一枪，
但你现在经济不够啊。 啊。
他还是那狗的一个运法。
其实围巾出的有点多了，稍微。但围巾多的话，你就可以早出坦克。
围巾多很正常，你想想看，你房子没有了，这波推过去，我就算推不死你，你的房子也死，基本上是死光了。
那倒是，天空你回来，飞龙回来全部打光，一攻一防，马上要推进的。莽霸现在倒还不是兵不够，是卵不够。
他钱还好，钱还有。
对啊，你不是钱不是没有钱，是卵不够。
这个3矿被打得太伤了。
啊，这一波推过来基本上走了，只能换家。但对手上面那个猥琐的坦克，你看到孤明火上面3矿架
看到了呀。
这坦克太猥琐了。
他这坦克就是帮你换家的呀。好了，飞龙被追着打。怎么办？
输了，上来打完房子都没有。
这波房子被杀了，那还打个毛啊！这波房子啊，
也被孤明火推傻了。你飞龙也打不过这波围巾啊！
这已经人口已经被打的，
他过来偷雷神，
偷雷神可以，偷雷神可以，
已经偷得很好了。我觉得莽霸这盘已经算尽力了。
有毒爆，这波毒爆可以防。好。
防的不错了，
防的不错也没用呀。
飞龙出来跟围巾打嘛，来嘛！
那么多的围巾，
那不就不停的用兵来过来跟你换，就吃你这波房子，吃完你也
这个房子已经是被杀了妈都不认识。
啊，还要利用这个围巾把你的眼虫给你点了，妈直接卡人口卡到死。
不过13条飞龙一兆，我觉得这波围巾如果吃掉的话，
就怎样嘛？
虽然说又不能怎样，
他3矿的，他又不是2矿一波，他是3矿一波啊。
哎呀，这个
继续吃房子，3矿也打没了。围巾就贴在
他这个房子为什么还飞出来嘛？我真的也是醉了。
让你吃，我就这样甩你飞龙，你爽不爽？基地肯定是掉了啊。
好了，你这波打完之后，接下来又是一波，怎么办？
下面这波就带多个雷神一波了，先用火车把你压了，
完全没有正面，正面已经完全没兵了。
以前嘛，你还可以说什么出个宿主什么赖一赖，
对你出个5、6个宿主还能够至少能够留守自己一片阵地啊。
对，慢慢耗，说不定还耗回来。现在这个你完全耗不动了，对手就火车加雷神，只要走到你脸上。好了，来2个雷神，你飞龙来嘛，吃嘛，来嘛。你散开来嘛！我现在下面的兵就直接去吃你农民。
其实这盘的一个胜负转折点就是那个3矿被打爆。
对，
他一直没有卵一直不够，然后经济也不好，
然后家里面又被那波女妖杀了大概10几个农民
，14个农民。
对，那波太伤了。好了，再打一个基地。
这种时候，其实打基地的时候，就火车侠的这个伤害并不比坦克低，
很高。火车侠稍打这种。好了，这边打完2下打完，再憋一波
，4矿都开了，我打你妹！
怎么感觉孤明火打莽霸跟打鸡一样？
是呀，
那就摁着乱干，想怎么干怎么干。2盘莽霸，其实莽霸的 ZVT 还是很猛的。他之所以叫莽霸，就是他经常会出100多个毒爆去滚别人。为什么今天被孤明火打的一点脾气都没有？
战术相克也是有可能的，这个东西
风格也有可能有点相克。孤明火
啊，这波农民，哎呀！还好没拦他还不够狠。
啊，这不够狠也死一大半呀！这种雪上加霜的事情。而且打什么嘛？退了呀，打3盘的呀。
好，这波退出来，就真的没得打了。
对啊，退了呀，154人口打105人口。重组在
看着，其实人族这波兵其实并不多，但真的打起来你才知道。
好，随便推一推啊，这3个雷神你飞龙过来，因为他本身这个接化就现在攻防很高，有点打不动了。
这波看毒爆，看毒爆，再来可以。
打而已啊，只是换火车侠呀。3个雷神把飞龙打得7七8八了。小狗上
还是
把雷神秒了。
GG 啊，
实在坚持不了了，2比0。我先去下厕所啊。
Has almost too good of a read on the builds that he's using, and he finds himself now just 1 game away from the grand finals, his first grand final for Dreamhack Open. And this is, I gotta say, for all the Terrans, you gotta be really happy out there, but for true fans, I'm really not sure what to say. He's opening up with these builds that are good.
感觉莽霸被公以后打成鸡了呀，打成弱智了已经。
Hitting a little bit earlier with those, it's like he hit a little bit earlier in game 1 with the Marine push. Most Terrans won't do that. He hit a little bit earlier in game 2 because he went gas before barracks, after command center first. And anybody that plays Terran at a high level will tell you that is not a common opening. It's not something a lot of people do. You usually open Marines. Gumiho just told himself, yeah, I don't really need those that fast. I'm going to go straight into the Hellions. And he got a big
今天感觉今天的比赛还是蛮快的。
Well, it's not a surprise, but how is this so one-sided here? What's happening here for True?
I really feel like True's just trying to play straight up.
现在重组那个重组的速度啊，削弱了，就减弱了之后啊，感觉机械化真的蛮好推的。
But it's just hitting a little bit faster, or in different ways. Really, like game number 1 was just. He did not expect his opponent to push out with a bunch of Marines because when you're opening with those, with game 1 and 2, you don't have any active forces out on the map, and then losing the Overlord alone really hurts because we saw after all the
砸本自从被显示砸之后啊，打通了任督二脉，
overseers that he built against the Banshees, he didn't have any money to actually
猛
build
的一逼现在。
game 1, he didn't have any money to build a Spire. Like True just seems to be not sure of how to handle the fact that Gumiho is not playing cookie cutter builds.
This could be a very long wait, Nathanias, between the second semifinals and the grand finals, which, reminder, is going to start at 10:30. It's only 9:08. Gumiho
我觉得可能莽霸打那种生化部队的这种人族选手比较猛，打机械化好像，不过也不能这么说。反正他这2盘打的都是有问题的。
That's just Gumiho being very good at it. And the most important thing that I think was really cool, we didn't see any real usage of like the 2nd or 3rd starport, but Gumiho was already set up that if at any point he was pushed back and had to get defensive, he was very, very ready to switch into anything like Ravens or more Banshees if he needed to.
好的，那双方第3场比赛已经是开始了。我们来看一下出生点位啊，在就是下方5点钟方向是莽霸。
Having some struggles here against the Towel Terran.
存在第5上方，蓝色人物选手 Gumiho
representing Invasion Esports. He is Gumiho.
还包了个只手，简直就是麒麟臂啊！
The initial defense, if he can pull that off better against the aggression of Gumiho, definitely one of the things that could help, but. So far, he's just not been there. Every single small aggression that came early on did a ton.
看一下双方这盘的开局啊。
Developing that into 20 kills.
这盘不偷了，公明不偷了，应该是个死神开。莽霸反正还是正常裸刷。这个图2个点位其实还是挺近的，这个图。
True, on the other hand, is going to open with a 15 supply spawning pool.
哎，什么情况
？This is great. The gas shows that he wants to get aggressive with this. And if
血池气矿
because he goes with the 13 supply gas, I could probably dive a little bit more into this. The reason why the
13 supply gas
opens things up more easily for Gumiho is that because the gas comes a little bit later,
血池气矿快速很快提速我开吗？
with a 12 supply gas, and
来看一下啊。
He intentionally delays his factory so that he can squeeze out just a few Marines before that factory is ready to swap and actually build the Hellions. And that's what allows Gumiho to have just a few extra units to hold off against any aggressive play. If True goes for some sort of all-in off of this setup,
这个战术说真的，我有点没想到，他这盘会选这样打。
more of a mid-game stage, and that's where those couple of extra units end up being exceedingly useful.
Do you think that True opened so safely because he thought that maybe since Gumiho was up 2-0, he
有没有肯定
might try for something
能够
that could
侦查到？
in a game number 3, or
Maybe.
you said yourself that it's, you didn't
看到这个基地有点觉得有点不对了，你的基地为什么能够那么慢？好，再看一下气矿。好，懂了。第一时间判断就是提速开，这个没有悬念的。
Most Terrans will throw it every once in a while, but he's more in like my Pult department where he'll cheese once in a blue moon. He's not Maru level.
I remember.
人去救这个农民啊，能救到吗？能救到。
Why didn't you? And he was like, well, I don't need that to win. And in the end, it was true.
Yeah.
Gumiho thinks the same so far, apparently.
But look at the way Gumiho set up, right?
被追死了
Now
吗？
got the gas to start the factory. His reactor's close to finishing, so he's gonna squeeze
活
out
生
some
生这两条狗是
Marines.
被
The
追死
Reaper will
的。
get in here, and if he clicks on that extractor, he'll know it's like okay, he definitely has the gas for speed. I will say. Since he went pool first,
再继续绕一圈，看一下有没有持续踩气了。
Like all in level timing, so Gumiho should be more
这
than
怎么会
comfortable enough
一个
position
死
to
神
deal
怎么
with
会
things.
把
The real question
把
is
莽
when
巴
this
骚扰
Reaper
成
leaves,
这
when
样？
True feels that the Reaper will not be able to come in and get a follow-up scout, is he going to go back on gas and throw up something like a Baneling Nest or a Roach Horn? Those are the big questions, because guess what? He's still mining a little bit of gas.
A double Reaper, man. This is pretty cool to see this.
Well, I
almost never see this.
Well, this is the part where I would normally, after the game is over, tweet out.
公民这边非常头啊，他看到了对手是一个提出口开，他居然是直接选择3开，而且是没有 BF 的3开，这个3开非常快。那公民这边门口肯定要进行一些防守的，如果不防守的话。 很可能这个2矿基地要飞啊！你地堡至少要造一个吧？地堡也不造，等着他提速口好。提速口其实莽巴这边提速口也不多啊。哎，这边还没看到，又要被家里面又要被绕一圈。
This could still be more, but by the look of things, I mean, he should be swapping.
烦的要死啊！真的是烦的要死。
The thing is, he knows that True
好的，
to drone pretty hard.
好的，好的，好的，好的，好的。
If he loses one of those Reapers, he's gonna lose at least one.
包了一个。
A little bit sloppy. And so far, no
但是最重要的是，他看到了，哎，持续的死神什么意思啊？风林火山，不可能呀！公牛已经看到了莽巴这边是升了2本，那又是一个跳飞龙。 这是莽巴啊，这是公牛比较喜欢看到的这样的一个局面。前期我经济那么偷，对，你又是个跳飞龙，你跳吧。
It's so easy to just funnel everything into that front point, but no, he's going to start extra barracks. He's not going to take any.
It's probably the easiest map in regards to.
这盘这样打下去，这样的一个情况打下去的话，
if you can get away with it, like for the Zerg player,
公民肯定要在前期啊，至少在之后的，就飞龙出来之后的2-3分钟内，肯定是要选择防守的。他的科技非常慢。
His Hellions were delayed, so he's like, well, I can't really build up a lot of Hellions. That means I can't go fast Banshees because I delayed my factory. So let's just play around with the barracks units. He's got to be feeling very comfortable in this series, and playing Bio will give him the biggest opportunity to win the game as soon as he has a decisive edge.
Where's the Spire, Nate? It's only links being
好，再过来看一眼，到底是不是飞龙？ 闸本打的真的是双线看，没看到这。
Links across the map. He's gonna morph in some Banelings and go for an attack.
没看到有点伤。
Oh, it was open. Oh my god.
几个这波狗如果真的绕上去的话，还真不好说。真不好说啊！来了吧，来了！看了一下，你就那么点货啊？还被包了个圆。 在后面的枪柄到，如果第一时间包上去的话，可能这个2矿已经飞掉了。哎呀，那么多狗！好的，好的。这波让公牛很伤，很伤，死了11个农民，12个。
very interesting question.
I mean, he's been doing so well. Maybe
这波打完之后，莽爸现在优势挺大的。这个川狗穿的非常好。
Really caught off guard by that. I don't think that was. It's just kind of weird for me. But
with his economy being weakened so much now too, it's going to be so annoying to have to make turrets against the mutas that are going to be made soon. 12 more drones here for True, who feels very confident. Remember, he invested a lot into this here. True, he made a lot of earnings.
It slows things down a lot. Like Gumiho,
我觉得直接变波毒爆，直接打一波了呀。这时候还想什么呢？
He needs to invest resources into the add-ons. He goes for the armory. But Todd, he hasn't.
公牛这盘能搬回来，就真的是实力取胜。这个局面他已经很难打了，他根本就没有办法推出去，现在根本就没办法推出去，而且自己家里面防守还需要很多的防空塔，科技又很慢，3矿飞出去，你根本就飞不出去啊。
What do you think about the lack of Baneling speed so far? Like he's.
你飞出去之后，对手3矿已经饱和了，农民已经饱和了，你怎么打？刚才死的那12个农民真的是太伤了。好，飞龙飞2矿应该有防守，这2矿肯定有防守。一些枪兵他都没有，估米后都没有钱来。 补一些防空了，他只能依靠枪兵来进行防守。那正面感觉被包了吗？啊，没有，打了一下，接触了一下。
It's a very important thing to know because he's still going to get in here and kind of mess with these. Actually, really nicely managed.
Wow.
哦，这个防空打的还不错哦。
My God.
That's just unnecessary, Todd.
Can't afford to lose these here. True, he's gonna have to pull back here in a second.
How many Mutalisks did he just lose? Like how?
I think 2 or 3. Yeah, 2.
Yeah, that's.
杀了39条，看这波空投啊，能不能牵制到什么东西？应该来说的话是牵制不了什么东西的，因为这军胆铺的已经非常开了，非常开阔了。我是感觉莽爸要打一波，莽一波，直接莽3矿了。莽爸在等毒爆虫的速度。
The fourth base is close to completing. True has it in the northeast. This is Gumiho's moment, and True very wisely realizes this, wants to go for the backstab.
可以了，这现在完全冲过去，公民后除非有神级般的操作，没有神级般，这个3矿肯定飞了。
So you know it's something, but at least the rally.
哎，没看到，这。
He's got a good amount of mines here. The rally covers it. Oh, actually, great.
这个换家，你这个岩石不是自掘坟墓吗？哎，不也行，关门打狗也行。死了一波农民，吃了对手一波主力。漂亮，这打下来了。这一来一回，感觉莽爸公民后赚了，你敢信？ 可这一来一回感觉公民后赚，虽然死了一些农民啊，但是正面战场上吃了一波对手的一波主力。
This is a pretty interesting game. All things said and done, I'm really interested to see what would have happened if Gumiho hadn't thrown away a dozen or so SCVs by not building a wall at the start.
没事，现在这个局势，莽爸还是有一些优势的。他毕竟农民现在还是比较多的。但是Gumiho没有刚才那么亏了。
Widow mines or tanks, whether you're playing bio or mech, will do a great job of covering anything that tries to run between those and really do a good job of zoning out the Zerg.
哎呦，操作非常不错哦，非常不错哦，操作，各种在秀，又强点，又把这船枪兵是绝对是赚大了。
Oh boy. There's a reason I love to watch Gumiho, and it's not because I copy his plays. It's because I wish I could.
我感觉莽爸的这个在进攻的同时，他的运营是出了问题的。他首先没有那个把自己的军坦铺出去，而且他的农民数量来说的话，如果是5矿的话，那76个农民并不多。看反应，强修能不能修住？这个修住很关键。修起来了吗？修起来了，你敢信？ 哦，正面打不过了，感觉 网吧真的节节败退了。换家，对的，换家是对的。地雷没埋下。哦，天哪！他在犹豫什么？刚才直接毒爆撞上去，也不至于成这样。现在真的，公牛彻底打回来了，真是彻底打回来了。
From Gumio, all he has to do is apply pressure on the fourth, do some damage, and he's going to be in a great position. Look at this, he's regrouping. He's going to
在空投来牵制你。这女王要走，这女王要走。
So that you can push across the map comfortably here as a Terran player.
好，你过来守是吧？那我就打你4矿。4矿虽然兵很多，看操作。这波不好说，这波在军坛上，我觉得公民后不一定打得过啊。莽巴的兵非常多，在里面这波兵还没接过来，接过来才行。对，现在军坦是一个非常大的一个问题啊，必须要把军坦全部清了再说。
He kind of likes Widow Mines, and I think he's going to try to make up for that by just pre-splitting and hoping that True's going to engage into him.
又是一波空投，这个空投就是为了牵制你飞龙回去的。那你飞龙只要回去了。哦，飞龙在换，飞龙在换。
At the same time, though, does Gumiho finally trigger the attack?
看Gumiho现在乱不乱啊？
Oh, he's spacing to go onto the fourth, and True's
莽巴现在所有的兵去救2矿那张空投，但4矿要掉，4伤被完爆了，莽巴。
I think that hatchery died in like 0.1 second.
You can really see how stressed True is in this game.
3-3 completed now.
又是一张空投，你飞龙，谁让你飞龙出去的？你飞龙出去就是这样的一个情况，又被洗澡，飞龙被洗澡了，哎呀！这打个毛，这种飞龙全倒，这还打个毛？
With the drop still alive, with all of the Mutalisks destroyed, Gumiho can position himself for another fight and potentially move on to a DreamHack Grand Final, Todd.
It's 137 army supply to 108 here in Gumiho's favor. He's going to move across the
这盘真的是Gumiho思路非常清晰啊，他就是各种的利用空投来牵制你的飞龙，让你自己乱。
Gumiho has been so patient.
好了，这盘Gumiho这种局面，他就很好打了。现在地雷稍微少一点，但你不能去军台啊。然后去军台的话不一定哦，马巴这波兵非常多，马上包上来。Gumiho现在有点危险，没有，纯靠操作，拉扯。没有地雷啊，真的是没有地雷。 但后面兵还源源不断上来，地雷埋下。太冲动了，在这种局面下，居然是顶着对手的去对手军坦上去跟对方打。
The medevacs are the key here. You know, Gumiho is a little bit behind in supply. Most of his active supply are actually these medevacs. But
did he make enough barracks to make up for basically not having to make medevacs right now?
I mean, by only having the 5 barracks, he's relying a lot on spending his resources.
不还好，刚才那波运输机没怎么死啊。这波只要能够守住，只要能够守住。
And this is where that 4th base you mentioned, if he comes in and hits it, very important. 2 turrets to finish up. These are actually tantamount for his defense. Actually, keep going to stop the banelings.
好，操作非常不错，把毒炮给点了，好守住了。大炮台平营要塞也起来了。攻防方面的话，哎呦。
You know, by keeping the medevacs alive, he's able to
这种我怎么遭得住嘛？这种就简直就是我在墙角等红杏啊！我靠。 又是个多线，操作非常漂亮，各种分枪兵简直操作神了，像花一样展开。好了，莽霸已经管不过来，忙不过来了，完全忙不过来了。
Pushing forward, cleaning up the last of the mutalisks and making his way towards the DreamHack Open Grand Finals here in France.
太猛了，顾明宏的 TVZ。
More Marines coming across the map. 6 more mutalisks in production, but it will not be enough. GG Gumiho.
GG 啊，这个真的太猛了。
DreamHack Open Tour.
多线操作，正面的给施压，协同。顾明宏这盘做到了他可以做到的一切啊，实至名归。这个3比0打得真的非常漂亮。